Welcome to practice. We're going to dive right in. Today we are playing with twists. And the beautiful thing about a twist, a spinal rotation, is that it's constantly giving us a new vision. It's giving us a view, in our imagination of 360 degrees of vision all around ourselves. We play with the linear in yoga a lot, with making forms and getting 90-degree angles and the bend of our knee and the bend of a hip. But ultimately, the universe, our DNA spirals, everything in our bodies and in the world, the most perfect shape is a sphere. And so we use the lines to set up the conditions to get spherical and then to place ourselves in the center of ourselves, right in the center of our circumstances. So instead of the esoteric dialogue of immanence and transcendence, what is mundane in here and what is spiritual and out there somewhere, we're instead playing with being this mediator and meditator and modulator that is sitting right at the center of ourselves. I also like to think of twists as having side mirrors. It's your good vision all around yourself so that, as one of my teachers, Abby Galvin, says, you're not getting sideswiped in life. So let's get started. We're going to come right away into a downward facing dog. And for a moment, you can just play the dog, perhaps how you always play a dog, maybe bending and straightening a leg. Just starting to breathe and feel out what's alive and vibrant for you today in your body, maybe what feels stagnant and stiff, and just really taking everything in with a non-judgmental awareness and curiosity of whatever's arising. So take just another moment to let things sort of be in your first nature, in your habit, how you always come into a dog. And then instead of just coming into a dog and then mentally leaving the building, let's set up some really good conditions for our down dog and really put our mind and imagination in the shape. So image that you're creating a 60-degree cut triangle, pardon me. And lift your buttock bones super high. Find a little bend in your knee so that you can really get a nice, clean, crisp fold between the low belly and the thigh. And then by virtue of lifting the buttock bones high and sending the center of the hamstring back, you can find more height in the top of your triangle. Wrap your armpits towards your heart so that your ears are right between your biceps, and plug the palm into the ground so that most of the weight is in the base knuckles of your fingers, especially the L shape and the index finger, and then find a sense that you're lifting up the cup at the center of the palm. Spread the balls of your feet, so not the toes, but the ball of the foot. And then a little tiny sense of a lift in the heel so that you have a good wave in the back of your spine. And then gaze ever so slightly forward. Now inhale and shoot yourself forward to a plank pose. Lift your seat a little bit so you're a little bit sassy in your seat, and take your gaze slightly forward and then back to a dog with, again, a nice generous bend in the knee. Now start to go forward and back. So as you move forward and back in this down dog, I want you to think that you're just folding and unfolding from the hip. And we're also building up some heat and some fire in our house. So for things to become pliant, like a jeweler who makes metal jewelry, you have to first apply heat. So pump out about 10 more breaths, moving forward and back. And then hold the dog and see how quickly you can get over it. See how quickly you can restructure and reform and recommit to the breath. Image that you are on a spit from your perineum all the way up through the crown of your head, and just pause here and breathe. Very nice. Walk your feet in just a little bit, and again, really spread the ball of the foot. Lift the sitting bones high. Now in your mind, draw a diagonal line between the ball of your right foot and your left palm, and really put good weight in that cross-reference, in that diagonal line from right foot to left hand, and then pick up your right hand and bring the back of your right hand to your sacrum. Keep looking forward and be so stable here that it's like your right hand is still on the ground. and then lower your right hand back down, and do the same thing on the other line, on the other side. So cross-reference from the right palm to the left foot so that you're nice and steady here. Keep lifting the buttock bones up, keep wrapping the right armpit towards the heart, and then pick up your left hand and bring it to your sacrum. Again, gaze slightly forward. Nice, again, that 60-degree archetype of a triangle. And then bring your left hand back down onto the mat. For a moment, drop down onto all fours. And here we're gonna flip our wrists. So take your right wrist and spin the wrist all the way around. And if that's not possible for you today, you can start to work here with the hands just turned out and image that it is still all the way around in your mind. So flip that right hand all the way around and then take your left hand all the way around. And now look down, because often when students flip their wrists, they end up bringing their hands too close together. You still want them to be shoulder distance apart. A flip of the wrist is to broaden the collarbones so that the lungs can come forward. So really plug the tops of your feet into the mat, because the spread on the top of the foot is what's going to get you right in the center of the knee, and that's where there's no pressure in the knee. If you take the weight off of your feet, you'll feel how the weight moves forward into the patella, right into the kneecap, and in a way that's like not comfortable and makes you feel like you need to pad the knee. So really spread the top of the foot here. And now with this flipped wrist, inhale and round your spine, and then exhale and pull the lungs forward. So start to move forward and back. Good, and then we're gonna agitate ourselves a little bit. So start to go a little bit faster. Know that you are safe and stable by the virtue of the contact that you're making between your feet and the mat, and start to whip it up a little bit. You can imagine that your body is a house and that you are going down into the basement, which is the boiler room. And in that boiler room is where the pilot light is. It's fall for a lot of us in the world. Maybe if you're doing this practice in summer, you'll be turning the pilot light off, but proverbially today, light the pilot light. So go forward and back and start to pump your breath. Good, keep going for about 20 more seconds, really whipping it up and starting to almost isolate this movement down in the lower body. In, X, in, X, in, X, in, X. Good, pause, take a deep breath in. Hold the breath at the top, pull your lungs forward, and then exhale it out. Very nice job. Flip your left wrist back forward, keep your right wrist still flipped, and now spin around that right shoulder. And I like to feel here like I have a little bit of a bend in my elbow. So if your hands are too far forward, you won't be able to find that little micro bend in the elbow. So see if you can organize it in such a way that that becomes available to you. And now pause here in the center. So in this shape now, you can either just lean back as far as you can without lifting up the heel of the hand, or if you're feeling frisky, curl your toes under and find this sort of almost downward facing dog. Again, I have a very generous bend in my knees, and I'm opening up the back of the right forearm. Take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, lower the knees back down. Flip the right wrist forward. This stuff feels very uncomfortable when it's new to you. It's not dangerous. It's new neural pathways. It's the connection between the collarbones and the neck and the wrists, and we're really opening up the housing for the lungs. Flip your left wrist all the way around and spin around the left wrist now, moving around to the left. I know when I first started doing this type of Katonah work, the flipped wrist stuff really got to me, and it was so uncomfortable. But as I've continued to reform it and form it again and do it again and again and again, with repetition and time, it's now become a place that I really love to go. It's become a new habit, and I can feel the way in which it has allowed me to get a better breath up into my upper lungs. Good, pause here, and then again, lean back only so far as you can go without the heel of the hand lifting up. And if you wish, take that sort of very strange downward facing dog, generous bend in the knee, lengthening the sitting bones up and back, and opening the left forearm. Another big breath. Good, and then lower the knees back down. Very nice. Flip both of your hands forward now. Step both of your feet back to a plank pose. You can do this on your knees if this is too much for you. Now alternate flipping the wrists, like a little kitty cat that was pawing the floor, or imagine that the mat is a hot griddle and your hands are like pancakes, and build some flippancy. One more set. Good, both hands forward and downward facing dog. Spread the balls of the feet. Push yourself on a spit. And again, how quickly can you get over it? Yoga is personal religion, and so much of life is about how can you get through things? How can you get around things? How can you get over things? How quickly can you recover? Naveen Mishan, my teacher, says that our good health isn't that we never get sick, but that in some regard it's how quickly we recover. And this is psychological and emotional immunity, right? As well as our physical immunity. So when something is difficult or tumultuous or arduous, how quickly can you get over it? Gently look forward and then step your right foot between your hands. And here, rather than going deep, which yoga people are so good at, I want you to go up. So think that your heel is connected to your buttock bone. So stack that left heel so that it's right over the ball of the left foot, and measure up so that your right knee is right in your right armpit. It's right in line. And then lengthen yourself forward, up on your fingertips, and use your shoulders like a frame of reference. So you can think that if you looked at me from the front or looked at yourself from the front, that your shoulders would be like a leveling tool. So if you're really folded in the hip, you'll be able to find this sense of the torso lengthening and making good contact with your right thigh. So now take your right hand to the inside of your right foot so that the heel of the hand is in line with the heel of the foot. And right away, traverse your terrain again. So stack your left foot, your heel way up high over the ball of the foot, push into the ball of your front foot, and now stabilize this pose by driving your right knee into your armpit. And now bend your right elbow a little bit into your shin and take your hand to your sacrum. And now travel forward again from your pubic bone to your navel, to your sternum, and through the crown of your head. So your back elbow now is like a handle, so you have a handle on yourself, and now put the weight evenly in both of your legs, and now use your right shoulder to start to spin yourself around. So go forward, back bend, look forward, drive your elbow into your shin, drive your right knee into your right shoulder, and this is what is going to allow you to find that 180 degrees of vision, so that it's like your right eye is even coming up towards the sky. And then keep doing everything. Lift the back heel. Keep swinging your left hip forward so you have 3 and 9 o'clock in your pelvis. Keep driving your right knee into the back of your right shoulder. Keep finding the back bend, the lengthening forward. Take another deep breath in. A nice long breath out. Do everything. And now lower your left hand back down onto the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Good. And again, how quickly can you get over it? Reorganize yourself. Balls of the feet. Lift the sitting bones high. Find the spread of the buttock bone, the spread of the ball of the foot, the back of the spread of the knees. And take a couple steady breaths. Very nice. Look forward where you're traveling and step your left foot between your hands. So again, in these poses, we want to get really clear about the measurement, because it's only out of the virtue of the line that then we're going to find the sphere here. So imagine you were standing on a giant clock. So your tailbone is 6 o'clock and in front of you is midnight or noon. Take your right hip around so that you have 3 and 9 o'clock in your hips. Lift your buttock bone by lifting your right heel. So it's stacking right over the right ball of the foot. And then picture yourself on that personal line from the perineum, which is your pelvic floor, all the way up through the crown of your head, because it's this implicit self, this invisible line going through you that's going to give you the leverage to spin. Now take your left hand to the inside of your left foot, so the heel of the hand is in line with the heel of the foot. Bend your left elbow into your shin, and then squeeze your left knee into the back of the shoulder. Again, reaffirm 3 and 9 in the pelvis, and bring your right hand to your sacrum. Look forward. Travel around yourself now. Back bend. And as you back bend, keep pushing the left knee in. And this will allow you to spin your torso to the right. And then you can take the gaze up, and even your left eye will be looking up at the sky. Keep stacking the right heel over the ball of the foot. Keep squeezing the knee in. Keep broadening your chest. If you fall out, just come back in. Take another full breath. Good. Slowly descend the right hand back onto the mat, and then step back to downward facing dog. Again, organize yourself very quickly. Forms are subject to deforming. So every time we come into the dog, it's our opportunity to recommit to putting ourselves on a spit, to recommitting to organizing our personal abode. Nice. Lower down to all fours. If you have a block, please grab it. Again, I really love using props because so many yoga people go too deep. And we can use props for a lot of different reasons: to bolster things up, to make things more difficult, to be support or scaffolding. In this case, we're going to use it to help inform the structure. So if you know that you go really deep, you tend to be on the overly bendy side, you're going to put the block on its highest height. Otherwise, you could just put it on its second highest height. And then just casually walk your hands forward and measure so that you can get your pubic bone right onto the block, and then straighten your legs. And organize yourself right on the balls of your feet. Get your wrists underneath of your shoulders, and then wrap your armpits towards your heart. Firm your legs and pull your chest through this gateway, this doorway that is wrist, wrist, shoulder, shoulder. You can think of it like a window, and you're cracking open the window so that you can catch a breeze in this house. Again, body is a house. It's a magical abode of your own. So give yourself a vision, give yourself a big breath, firm the legs. Nice. And now lift off of the block and bend your knees and refold the hip back to that downward facing dog. Again, the knees are bent, the seat is high. And now let's go forward and back. In a way, this is just like doing a gigantic cat-cow. So inhale, come forward, tap the pubic bone on the block, exhale back to the dog. Good, keep going. And you might even start to take your vision with you so that you can envision that you are an image, that you are making a sphere. Tapping the pubis on the block, folding and unfolding from the hip. Good, couple more. Nice. Pause in the downward facing dog. Sitting bones high, lengthen space through the side body. Lower down to all fours and set that block aside. Good, we're gonna play with these rotations in a different position, in a different lunge. In a lot of ways, lunges are just destabilized downward facing dogs. So we're gonna play with the spin from different locations. Come back to your downward dog. Sitting bones high. Look forward where you're traveling and lunge your right foot once again. Good, drop to your back knee. Now pause for a moment and find a sense of a line from your nose to your coccyx, and then press the top of your left foot into the floor. Again, organize yourself so your knee is in your armpit. Use your shoulders like a leveling tool, just like we did in the last pose, and really organize yourself again. And remember that the spin, the rotation comes because you're on a spit. Anything that is on a spit, you can spin. But if you're rounded forward, it's going to limit your ability to get spherical and to really see around yourself. So from the pubis to the navel to the sternum, all the way up through the crown of the head. And now from here, straighten your back leg for a moment so that you're right on the top of the left foot, and then widen your left seat and redescend that knee down. Very good. Take your right hand to the inside of the foot, just like we did in our other pose. Again, you'll bend your right elbow a little bit into the shin and squeeze your right knee into the back of the right shoulder. Bring your hand to your sacrum and look forward. And once again, start to back bend as you spin around yourself, maybe even taking the left arm all the way up to the sky, still finding 3 and 9 o'clock in the pelvis, still pressing the back foot into the mat, still driving the right knee into the shoulder. And now from here, some of you might be able to take the bind. The right arm will just swing right under the right leg, the left arm behind the back, and then use the bind to give you a different spin. Again, the right eye is coming all the way up towards the sky. So good. Big, deep breaths. Nice. Right hand back to the floor. Unwind the left foot and just pause, the left arm, just pause for a moment and rest, because this is really demanding. So maybe allow yourself to slightly move forward and back. One way that we deal with things being demanding and difficult is to wiggle around, right? If you think about when you were a little kid, or maybe you're in college and this is still you, the way that we wiggle around, or we doodle on a piece of paper, or we, play with something in our hands, it helps us to pass the time and to deal with what's going on. We can do the same thing in the body. We can wiggle around a little bit. Very nice. Good. Now from here, straighten your back leg and step back to a down dog. Without the block now, let's play. Come all the way forward into that floating up dog, but imagine the block was still there, so you're still honoring the form. And then back to the down dog. Knees bent, seat high and wide. Let's take the other side. Lunge your left foot. Get your knee in your armpit and descend the back knee. Once again, use your shoulders like a leveling tool. So 90-degree bend, left knee over left ankle. Get your knee in your armpit, so you're taking the measure, and then press the top of your right foot down. As I mentioned, all body parts correspond to a different body part, and the top of the right foot is your back. So from here, take your left hand to, we need to straighten the back leg first, pardon. Straighten the back leg. I'm so excited, I just keep jumping ahead today. Straighten the back leg, so you're on the top of your right foot. Widen your right seat and then redescend the back knee. Nice. And now take your left hand to the inside. So keep that 90-degree bend. Get your heel of your left hand in line with the heel of your left foot, and then bend your left elbow into the shin at the same time that you're driving your knee into the back of the shoulder. Take your right hand to your sacrum and then look forward. And then from here, keep looking forward and rotate around yourself, opening the shape up to the right. Press the top of the right foot into the ground. Press your left knee into the back of your left shoulder. Keep drawing your right hip forward. Keep spinning. And then if it's available to you, you can go for the bind, swinging your left arm underneath of your left leg and using the bind to get a different vision and a different spin. So good. Very nice. Unravel that. Both hands back down onto the mat. And then again, that was demanding. So let yourself move around a little bit. Nice big breath. Very good. Nice. From here, step back, down dog. Again, organize it. 2 feet, 2 hands. For a moment, we're going to slow everything down before we go into our next rotation. And I want you to do what we call cross-referencing. So put your mind, your imagination into the ball of your right foot, and then draw a diagonal line to your left knee in your mind. From the ball of the right foot to the left knee, and widen that frame. And then from the ball of the left foot to the right knee, and broaden that. So X marks the spot. You just drew a giant X across your lower legs, and that will widen the knees so they're right in line with the hips. And now do the same thing from your right knee to your left buttock bone. So perk the left buttock bone up just a little bit higher, and then do the same thing from your left knee to your right buttock bone, and pop it up just a little bit higher. And now from your right hip to your left shoulder, a diagonal line from the right hip to the left shoulder, and then from your left hip to your right shoulder, and then your right shoulder to your left wrist, and then your left shoulder to your right wrist. Good, expanding in all directions. Very nice. And then lunge your right foot forward. Good. This time, pin your back heel down. Just spin the back heel down like you would in a warrior pose, in a warrior one perhaps, in a more traditional vinyasa class. And now take your right hand to the inside of your right leg, but now I want you to flip your wrist. So spin around so that your thumb is pointing towards your right knee, and walk it back so that you have an X between the shin and your right arm. Look forward. And now rather than thinking, I'm going to straighten my leg, I want you to think that you're going to blossom open the back of the knee by the virtue of lifting your right buttock bone from the ball of your right foot. It's a very different feeling than jamming the knee back. So start to take your left hand to your hip and start to slowly lift the right buttock bone. And then X marks the spot between the right shin and your right arm. Take your left arm up for this variation of triangle pose and spin. Turn your gaze up towards the sky. That back thigh is spiraling in. The right thigh is spiraling open and away. Lengthen your spine. So good. And if you wish, pick your hands up and take the bind. Again, the right shoulder, right arm weaves under the right thigh, left arm behind the back, and the bind gives you a really different rotation. Very good. Couple more big breaths. So nice. Unravel that. So slowly bend the right knee. Bring your left hand back down to the floor. And now from here, step back, downward facing dog. Right away, organize the form. And then shift all the way forward to that floating up dog. Bring the lungs forward. That's nice. And then back to down dog. Lunge your left foot right into the other side. Pin your back heel down. Again, your knee is in line with your left armpit. Take your left hand to the inside and then flip your wrist. So the thumb now is facing towards your left knee. Again, rather than jamming the knee back, I want you to think, lift my left buttock bone. Keep lifting your left buttock bone. You might have to walk the left hand back a little bit and then roll your chest open. And you're light on the left hand. There's very little weight on it. It doesn't matter if you're able to straighten the leg all the way. Might have a nice generous bend in it. And if you wish, again, swing the left arm under and go for the bind. And use the bind to give yourself a different vision of the sky, for that left eye to come all the way around. Good. Super nice. Unravel that. Hands back down to the mat. And step back, down dog. Put your mind in the down dog. Don't let it be habitual or for your mind to leave the building. Instead, organize it. Ball of the foot, lifting the setting bones, sending the center of your hamstring back. And if you wish, come forward into that up dog. And then back to down. Super nice. Look forward and lunge your right foot. Almost there. Lower back down to your back knee again. I said this in the last class that I filmed, but when we're building new neurology in poses, or really in anything in life that we're building and learning, when we first start doing it, it just feels foreign. And it's with our first primal nature, the piece of us that doesn't know and just does the best we can. And then in time, through repetition, we keep organizing it and we inform it with everything we've learned. And then in time, we find freedom in the containment as we get to put our stellar self into it, our highest mastery, as we keep learning. So now, organize yourself. And we're continuing to come back into this shape just from different angles. It's like different perspectives of the same thing. So once again, make sure that you're really pushing the top of the left foot into the ground, that you're lengthening from your coccyx, your tailbone, all the way through your nose. And take your right hand to the inside. But this time we're gonna flip the wrist, because it demands something different. So line up, heel of the hand with the heel of the foot. Bring your hand to the inside and bring your right shoulder into the right armpit. And then take your left hand to your sacrum and just like before, go forward first. So lengthen the front of your spine, gaze forward, and then push your right knee into your armpit to revolve yourself, the right knee into the back of the right shoulder to get around yourself, and maybe even flip your left palm towards the crown of your head. Keep drawing your left hip back to 3 and 9 o'clock. So left hip is 9 o'clock, right hip is 3 o'clock. Keep bringing it around. And keep resisting the urge to forward fold by slightly back bending. That's nice, good. Slowly unravel it. Left hand down. Reframe your front knee. And now stay in the fold of the hip, unfurl into what is often called Anjanayasana, and now twist the other way. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Make a fist in your left hand and push it into the palm of your right hand and spin around the other way. Still lengthening from the coccyx to the nose, still pressing the top of the left foot down, still pushing into the ball of your front foot. And then gently unravel that. Hands back to the mat. Good. For a moment, just gently move forward and back. Just slightly starting to gently open things up. Beautiful. And then come back to the center. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. And now spin your right toes open, but keep the boundary on it. Don't collapse open onto the pinky edge of the right foot. Lengthen forward. We do this pose a lot because it's such a beautiful sphere. So right away, you can come up onto your fingertips and then lengthen from your pubic bone all the way through the crown of your head. So it's got some levity and some volume to it. Good, now imagine you're on a clock face again. So your tailbone is 6 o'clock, in front of you is 12 o'clock. Walk over to 10 o'clock and look out. Big vision, super nice. And then from here, plant the left palm or stay up on the fingertips as you wish. Take your right hand to your right knee, but instead of pushing the knee away, I want you to back bend away from the right knee and spiral it open. That's it, super nice. And then from here, bend your left knee and reach back and catch the pinky edge of your left foot, and then make it a big sphere. Kick into your hand rather than pulling your heel towards your butt. Broaden your collarbones by wrapping your armpits towards your heart. Keep finding the boundary in the shape, and then picture yourself in a bubble, filling out the sphere. And if you wish, you can even come up on the ball of the right foot to give it a little more buoyancy. Very nice. Unravel that, release the back foot. And then heel toe your knee back into line with the armpit. From here, kick your left heel in, walk your hands up to your thigh, reach back and catch a hold of your left foot. Optionally reach back with your right hand and interlace your fingers like a basket around the left ankle. Drive your pubic bone forward and open it up. Good breath. This is so nice because we're ending in a closed circuit. So you can envision that you're a sphere right now. You're moving in two directions at once. Pubis is going forward, left foot is going back, chest is going up, piece of you is anchored down. So nice. Unravel that, hands down, and then step back to the dog. Come forward to the floating up dog, chest through. Good, and back to dog. Other side, this is it, left foot forward. And then get your left knee right into your armpit again. Press the top of your right foot down again. And then bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot and flip your wrist. So the thumb is making contact with the left heel. Find a little micro bend in your left elbow. Put your hips on 3 and 9 o'clock and lengthen from coccyx to your nose. Drive your left knee into the back of your left shoulder. Bring your right hand to your sacrum. Look forward and then spin around yourself to the right. And again, you can even take the right palm towards the crown of the head as you straighten the right arm up to the sky and then do everything. So push the top of the right foot down, lengthen your spine, find 3 and 9 o'clock, and just keep spinning around. Good breath. Use your left knee to drive the rotation. So nice. Unravel it and go right into the rotation on the other side. So peel yourself up and take your right elbow now to the outside of your left knee. Make a fist in your right hand, push it into the palm of the left hand, and spin your torso left. So good. Unravel it. Very nice. Spin your left foot open, left toes pointing towards 10 o'clock. Take your right hand out a little bit wide, up on fingertips or the palm of the hand. Take your left hand to the inside of the knee. And again, I'm not jamming my knee open. I'm back bending away from my left knee and spinning it open. So it's a big sphere. Yes, open up the collarbones. Keep the boundary so you're not rolling to the pinky edge of the foot. And then optionally bend the right knee, reach back and catch the pinky edge of your right foot, and then go in all directions. Kick your right hand into your right foot into your left hand, pubic bone forward, armpits wrapping towards your heart. Big back bend. So nice. Release that, unravel it. Spin your left foot forward, and then kick your right heel in. And again, interlace your fingers if you can around the ankle so it's like a basket, and then kick your ankle into your hands and drive your pubic bone forward. Close circuit, and then put your brain and your imagination in the vessel. So imagine that you are a sphere. That's good. Release it slowly. I just kind of flung myself out of there like a slingshot. It's like a bow and arrow. Step back to downward facing dog. In a way, that's what back bends are. They're potentiating us. For the last time, shoot it forward, floating up dog. Back to down dog. So good. Walk your feet up your mat. And then take the measure of hip distance apart. So 2 fists between the arches, a little moment of recovery here. And then take opposite palm to opposite elbow. Recovery might not be the right word because hangs are really arduous and can be pretty intense. So again, do what you need to do to cope. That might mean bringing your fingertips down to the floor and gently rocking forward and back. This is not our normal, just straight-legged forward fold. There's a little bend in the knee so that you can really lift the sitting bones high and keep this complete fold, this deep crease in the hip. Yoga poses are origami, and so it's like you are making a cup, and you want to make a cup that holds water. Good. From here, let your torso be super heavy, your arms heavy. Bend your knees a lot. Imagine your knees were two balls. Throw the balls forward as you tuck your tail and slowly roll all the way up to stand. Nice job. Very good. Interlace your fingers at your lower back. Push your knuckles back and see if you can work the palms to touch or towards touching. Armpits towards your heart. Keep hip distance apart, and now start to bend your knees like Utkatasana chair pose, but keep pressing the knuckles back. And then sit lower, and sit lower. Keep sitting low till your belly is right on your thighs, and your torso is parallel to the floor. And then throw your thighs into your belly. Again, it's a different idea than just trying to straighten the legs. Keep the contact of belly to thigh, and lift the sitting bones so you're really coming towards the ball of your foot. That's it. Rebend the knees and reverse it slow. So start to lift your chest as you bend the knees. Your torso will come parallel to the floor, and then keep sitting back into Utkatasana and slowly push all the way up. When you release the clasp, slide your hands up your sacrum, your fingertips pointing down, hug your elbows in, and then unfold the hip crease. Drive the pubis forward, a little back bend. And back up. Nice. Interlace your fingers under your chin like a handle, elbows flaring up and out. And same way, bend the knees, sit back chair. Keep gliding down till your torso comes parallel to the floor, and it's like you're being pulled in two directions, and then fold all the way down. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back to plank. Draw your pubic bone towards the floor. Upward dog, and then back to down dog. Knees bent. Look forward, travel the right foot. Last sort of warrior pose. From here, right knee in your armpit. But now we're gonna blow out the angle. So I've been asking you to make a 90-degree bend. Now I want you to start to walk your left foot back. Not so far that you're in Anjanayasana in the splits, but just like you were starting to move in that direction. And then from here, re-extend, place the top of your left foot on the floor, and then lengthen from the coccyx through your nose. Take your right hand to the inside and flip your wrist. So here, you really need the contact between your right shoulder and your right knee. So squeeze your right knee in, take your left hand to your sacrum, and look forward. Spread the top of the left foot on the floor. And now spin around yourself. And as you have space, you can keep walking the right hand back till it comes right underneath of the perineum. The right knee is spinning the shoulder. Look up. The back foot pressing into the ground. The right knee squeezing in is your stability. And it's the spin. Good. Unravel it. Left hand down. Pause for a moment. And then walk your left foot back in just by curling the toes under and wiggling. And step back, downward facing dog. Reform it right away. Do everything that you've been told to do today in a down dog. And then travel the left foot forward. Again, we're gonna blow out the angle by walking back. So wiggle the right foot back. Just notching the knee back till you have now an obtuse angle, and then press the top of the right foot on the ground. 3 and 9 o'clock in the pelvis. The ball of the left foot is really pushing into the earth, and the whole top of the right foot. And then put yourself on a spit, coccyx to nose. Take your left hand to the inside and flip your wrist, and then walk it back. So a little spider crawl with your left hand. Take your right hand to your sacrum and push your knee into your shoulder. That's going to stabilize you. And then use that to put the spin on it and spin all the way around to the right. And you might even be able to walk the left hand back till it comes right under your perineum. So good. Unravel. Very nice. Walk the right foot back in. And then step back, down dog. Let some sound out, let some air out. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. Good. Separate your feet hip distance apart. If you have a blanket handy, I like to put a blanket under my heels. You can place it right under the heels so you're on a downhill slope. And then bend your knees, fold forward again. And if you have blocks, I'm going to use my blocks. You do not have to use blocks. Walk your hands forward or come up on your fingertips so that you're really lengthening forward. Like you're kind of in between a forward fold and a downward facing dog. And just like in those folds, go into the ball of the foot, lift your buttock bones, and send your hamstrings back. And imagine you're on a clock face again. Weight your right foot a little bit more and walk your hands over to the left to 10 o'clock. Use your right foot as the anchor so you can stay in the center of yourself. And now let's move from dawn to dusk, left to right. Shift the weight into your left foot, walk the hands to the right, 2 o'clock. Envision you're getting around yourself, spinning in time, mediating space and time. Good, and then back into the center. Very nice. From here, grab the block and pop it between your ankle bones. It'll just give you a nice boundary. And now bend your knees deeply and allow your armpits and your knees to make good contact. You can see my hands are just sort of forward. If you have a sandbag, this is a really nice place to sandbag your forearms. I'll show you kind of what that looks like just with a block. You're gonna act like you've got a serving tray out in front of you. Give a little pressure into the block that's between your ankles. Keep this good contact between your belly and your thighs. And now lift your buttock bones. Yup, just like that, keeping full contact belly to thighs and lower back down. And do that a couple times. It might feel very demanding. Your knees might be cracking like mine. Up and down, it doesn't hurt, I promise. I don't know if you can hear it on the mic. Couple times, 2 more. The chest is on the thighs. Good. And lower down. Super nice. Now you can let your knees fall open. You can even let the toes spin open a little bit, more like a malasana. So widen the knees. And if you need more blankets underneath of your heels, of course, that's always an option. Now take your right hand to the inside of your right knee and spin your left arm to the sky. A nice revolved squat. Good. And lower it back down through the middle. Crawl your fingertips forward, round your back a little bit. And then take your left hand, now swim it over so it's on the inside of the left knee. Curl the right arm high. And then roll that back down to the center. Remove the block from between your legs and bring your feet to touch. The knees nice and wide, the blanket or the towels underneath of your heels. Nestle your shoulders to the insides of your knees. Wrap your hands back and interlace your fingers around your heels like a little basket. Full malasana. Holding your heels like your hands were a little basket, supporting yourself, making good contact. Very nice. Unravel that and simply lower your butt down. That might not go as gracefully as one hopes. And then take your blanket back on the mat a little bit and have a seat on a downhill slope on the blanket. So if you wish, you can put 1 or even 2 blankets under your butt, but get yourself organized so you're right up on your perineum, a little bend in your knees. Inhale and stretch your arms up. And then hinge from your hip crease, fold down, and find hands to heels. And you might need to put a nice big generous bend in the knee, or if you want to flatten it out a little bit, you can wiggle your butt back. Now grab your big toes with index and middle finger and inhale and flatten your back, go forward, and exhale back down. We're going to do this with a Kapalabhati breath, a forceful inhale, well, more of a Bhastrika, a forceful inhale and a forceful exhale. So it'll sound like this. As you go up and down, keeping that good contact between the belly and the thighs. Great, so from here, let's begin. Good, keep going. A little bit longer, about 30 seconds here, pumping the breath. Look forward, keep lengthening. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold down. And now let it go. Again, if you need to deepen it, wiggle your butt back. And right away, drop into the breath. Inhale for 4 and imagine it going up the front of you. Hold the breath at the top and exhale down your back. Stay empty at the bottom. Again, inhale up the front. Hold the breath at the top and exhale down the back. Empty at the bottom. Keep breathing in this way. And now every time you inhale, envision spring rising, a little sprout coming through the earth. And at the top of every in-breath, image summer's ripening. And every time you exhale, fall descends down your back. And when you're empty of breath, you're empty for winter. When you're in summer, you can picture a cherry dangling from a tree, overly ripe. The fecundity of summer, and then the cherry falls, and it hits the earth in fall, and the flesh rots off of it, and what's left is the seed, which goes underground, and it builds its potential under the earth in the inside of winter. And then it bursts through the ground in the spring as a little sprout, and the whole process begins again. So you can always know that spring is always coming. Anytime it feels like there's destruction, the sun always rises. Take opposite palm to opposite elbow over your head and back bend to sit up. Lengthen forward and up, forward and up, forward and up. Bend your knees a little bit, drag your heels towards your butt, and now spin to the left and take your right hand to your left knee, your left hand behind you, and spin all the way around. Look over your left shoulder, right up on your perineum. And then go up through the midline, take a deep breath in, get even taller, and then spin right, left hand to right knee. Look back over your right shoulder. Full rotation. And then come back to the midline, a deep breath in. And exhale and release it down. Very nice job. Walk your feet in, take the soles of your feet together. Rather than taking a big long measurement or trying to pull your heels all the way into the groin, measure a block's distance between the pubis and the heels. Some of us need blankets under our knees so we don't go too deep again into the hips and the pelvis. When we're too deep, we're in a puddle, right? We want to have rise and buoyancy and volume. So we anchor out of our depth so that we can go up. So lift up and off of yourself and then hinge forward from your hip crease, walking your fingertips forward. Just a couple breaths in Baddha Konasana. Press the soles of the feet together again so you're not just flopping open, but you're keeping good boundaries. And then lengthen the front of the spine and come up. Good, assist your knees together. We'll do some pranayama, and then you can let the video turn off. If you have autoplay, then you might want to change that. You can take a shavasana if you wish. I love shavasana, and some days I do one for a good long time after practice. Often I finish with pranayama. So we've built an origami cup, and then we get to fill it up and take a drink. So I'm going to sit in Virasana on a block the long way. You're welcome to sit cross-legged. If this causes any pain in the knee, don't do it. Sit on a blanket, but put your pelvis up on top of something. And then if you're in Virasana and you're sitting cross-legged, I want you to lean forward and get your perineum with contact with the blanket or the block that you're sitting on, and then walk your hands back up. And it's going to feel like you're pitched a bit forward. Just trust that you're where you need to be. If you're in Virasana, I like to put myself in a boundary. So I'm going to put this self-clippable strap around my thighs and under my shins so that I don't have to work so hard and bind myself here. And then make 2 cups in your palms for a moment and just organize yourself. Good. Now from here, curl your index fingers in. So make a fist, point your index fingers up, and then curl them in so that your second knuckle on your index fingers is still sticking up. And now bring that to the inside of your eyebrows, right on either side of your nose, and trace under your eyebrows with your knuckle all the way out to the outer edge of the eyebrow. And do that a few times nice and slow with your eyes closed. This is really good to do at the end of the day if you've been staring at screens. Even now you've been potentially glancing up at the screen to take class. And now it's time to pull our senses inward and to get more curious about our internal space. Good. And the next time they're out on the outer edge, stay there. And now go over the top of the eyebrow and trace back in towards the nose. And do that a few times, just massaging the forehead from the outer eyebrow, dragging the knuckles into the center. Nice steady breath. Good. And then put your eyebrows back how you like them, fluff them back out. And from here, take your right hand and just rest it on your right thigh, palm up. Take your left hand and just kind of shake your wrist out up towards the sky. Shake, shake, shake. And then make a very loose fist, a fist like when you were a kid, if you had a sibling that grabbed your wrist and said, "Stop hitting yourself," and flung your wrist around. Let it be kind of loose like that, but maybe less traumatic. And now take your left hand, and I want you to very gently, with that very floppy fist, beat the right side of your chest. Just very gently, beats the wrong word. Gently tap. Let it be floppy. Get the lymph of the right armpit. You can hear it's coming out of my voice. You might like like to make some sound. Making sound is very soothing. It stimulates the phrenic nerve and the vagus nerve. So you might make like a horse sound, like, or you can go, just let some sound out. A little gentle tap of the chest. You can envision that you're tapping your thymus gland, which is deep inside of you. In the mystic dialogue, it's your inness and outness. It's your personal immunity. Good. Nice. And then from there, take that left arm up and make a cup in your left palm. And we're going to plump up this left lung with a Kapalabhati breath. For Kapalabhati breathing, you're going to forcefully exhale, snapping your abdomen back, just about 20 breaths. Take a nice deep breath in and go. Take a deep breath in. 3 more sips. 1 more sniff. Hold your breath. Exhale and lower the left arm. Just feel now the whole of the left side. Your heart, spleen, pancreas, stomach. The left side is our emotive. It's the lunar. Just let it be heavy and soft. You can image that the left lung is cross-referencing and breathing into the right kidney. There's a relationship between the lung and the kidneys in the mystical dialogue of lungs feeding the kidneys. And now take your right arm out to the side and make that wrist nice and floppy. And then make a floppy fist and beat the left side, just like we did on the other side. So now you're sort of making contact with that lung that we just plumped up, with the heart. Just some gentle contact. We're in a body all the time, but it's sort of like we're not embodied all the time. We disconnect. A really good example of this is if you put on something really uncomfortable to wear, and 2 hours later you don't even feel it anymore because you sort of disconnect from the sensation. So take this as an opportunity to feel your body, to feel the vibration, the resonance, and maybe put a sound on it again. Get a little sound out, maybe a lot of sound. Good, another moment. And then throw your right arm up in the air. Make a cup in your palm, and we'll pump out about 20 Kapalabhati breaths. You can envision we're clearing this lung out and getting a deep breath to feed, again, cross-referencing to the left kidney. Take a nice deep breath in. And begin. Take a deep breath in. 3 more sips. 1 more sniff. Hold your breath. Exhale, let it drop. Whole of the right side, your liver. It's where you put your best foot forward. It's your scholastic solar self. And now put yourself right in the middle of the left and the right, the lunar and the solar, of your heart and your experience. And we're going to pump out about 100 Kapalabhati breaths. Throw your arms up in the air in the shape of a V. Touch your index fingers to your thumb, and then turn your heart ever so slightly to the right. Take a nice deep breath in, and pump the breath. Think that you're going out, 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 out. Keep pumping the breath. You can think of it like you were tuning your instrument so you can learn to play well in an orchestra. You can think that it's throwing open the windows to your house so you can get all the stagnant air out and let something new in. Keep pumping the breath. Go out, 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 out. And if you wish, you can speed this up for the last 20 seconds or so, like you were riding a racehorse to the finish line. You can think of this like aerating your soil. When you're going to plant a garden, you have to till the dirt around so that it gets oxygenated. So pump it out for just about 20 more seconds. Take a deep breath in, hook your thumbs. 3 more sips. 1 more sniff. 1 more sniff. Get completely full so you can't take in any more air. Squeeze your sex organs, squeeze your navel point back, go up, up, up for the pregnant pause, for summer's ripening, and now pop your cork. You made effort, receive grace. Put the backs of your hands on your thighs. Again, turn your heart ever so slightly to the right. Feel the plug in a socket, your perineum connected to the earth below you, giving you good contact, connection. And out of it rise, up through the crown of your head, through your antenna. Have a big vision for your life. Give yourself 360 degrees of vision. Rub your palms together in front of your face. Cup your palms over your eyes, your fingertips on your hairline. Let the darkness in behind your hands. Release your palms, let in the light, and welcome yourself back. As always, you could take a shavasana here or leave with this enlivened sensation from the breath work. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me. I will see you next time. My name is Selena Garofino. I am the founder and the creator of the Evolve Method. I named my program the Evolve Method because, like you, I'm a perpetual student. I've been studying yoga since I was 12 years old, so pushing 26 years or so. I'm 40. I'm not very good at math. I can teach yoga. And over the course of that, I've studied so many lineages of yoga and worked with so many bodies. And as the research on bodies uncovers new information, I'm always slightly tweaking and changing what I'm doing. And as I, as a person, grow, I'm always evolving the narrative that I'm weaving for myself. And so that's why this program is called the Evolve Method. And the beauty of this is that when you come to one of my programs, you get the opportunity to evolve, and I get to evolve with you, because I'm not the teacher and you're the student. On one level I am, but also we're all the same, and I get to learn from you and your wealth of experience. And as I relay this yogic knowledge and information through this vessel, the way that it's been taught to me and the way that I understand it, you then get to take it and integrate it into your personal vessel, and then share that poetry out with the world in a way that's really unique to you and that is your medicine. I have programs all over the world, immersions, long programs that are done on Zoom, live streaming, or in person. I have a pre-recorded program that you can do all on your own if self-paced study is your jam, and international retreats all over the globe if you just want to come take a deeper dive. So check out my website, selenagarofino.com. Practice with me live streaming almost every day or on demand on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you on the mat. Please reach out if you have any questions about what it's like to be a certified Evolve Method teacher.